Hello, my name is Carla Guadarrama, and today I'll be talking to you about my research proposal. My research proposal's title is The Effects of Different Stressors on Middle School Students' Academic Performance and Motivation. So the area of focus is to really be examining if there is a connection between stressors like adverse childhood experiences or ACE and an increase in stress on middle school students and an effect on their academic performance and motivation. I will be also exploring different methods like social emotional learning and the importance of parental involvement as possible methods of intervention to promote positive academic achievement within students. The significance of the study is to further explore why there is a decrease in academic achievement of students in the United States by understanding the types of stressors that students may be experiencing and how these stressors are causing harm in academic achievement, school attendance, and school motivation. This study will be useful to teachers who, again, work or are in different classrooms with a diverse group of students every period. Administrators, since it could also shed light on the type of support that students might need on campus, either it be counseling or family counseling or something to help them support and feel included and just a part of the school in general, since school is a big part of their daily lives. Parents and guardians, since they could also be aware on how they could have open communication with their students and their children, and see if they might need some further help from other resources that the district might be able to offer or maybe found at the school campus as well. Counselors and psychologists or personnel who work with students, since again this is exploring why students might be lacking in motivation or why they might not be as focused as they were before for a certain semester, or seeing a difference in their behaviors and changes over the course of from 7th to 8th grade. So my research questions are how stressors like adverse childhood experiences increase stress and affect middle school students' academic performance and motivation, as well as how social emotional learning and an increase of parental involvement could promote a method of intervention to help increase positive academic achievement. So in my literature review right now, I am mostly focusing on what ACE is and different types of stressors, like how financial instability can cause a certain stress on a student, like homelessness, lack of food, lack of housing, parental neglect, parental mental health, and parental substance abuse, or any person living with a student who are experiencing these things could be a form of a negative stress on the student. I also will be focusing on the aftermath of ACE on student performances and behavior, since I did notice that there was a connection between when there was financial instability or maybe a student was homeless with their family, how that led to student performance at school, how that student was more absent more frequently or more sick more frequently, so that caused the student to stop going to school as often. I also started noticing how certain areas, like the ones before I had mentioned, like parental neglect and mental health and substance abuse, can also cause mental health issues to arise later as a student is developing or maturing. And I really did want to show that connection between those two, ACE and then what happens to the student afterwards. I also did want to include other stressors that the student might be facing, like student personal mental health, bullying that they might be experiencing on school, and maybe also focusing on peer pressure and substance abuse after school or with friends or other students. And then possible solutions to help support student stressors, help them feel more included, building a very healthy classroom environment may also be a way of intervention. So I also will be exploring that as well. So I do want to take a mixed methods approach with my research project, and I will be working with middle school students ages 12 to 14 years of age. Approximately, I do want to work with approximately 30 8th grade students and approximately 30 7th grade students. The data collection will be collected from a questionnaire revolving around questions on stress, and the student will just rate the question from 1 being the least stressful to 5 being the most stressful. Grades and attendance will be collected from the school as a whole and converted into data that will be able to use as a graph or other forms. Participating students' grades and attendance will also be collected as well, since I will be working with certain teachers in certain classrooms, and hopefully being able to see that group as a whole and be able to figure out their grades and attendance. After I've collected all the results from the questionnaires, I will separately be looking for 6 focus students. They would be the students with the lowest grades and the highest absenteeism. I do want to work with at least 3 8th grade students and 3 7th grade students, depending on who does want to participate, and they will be asked to just participate in a one-on-one interview, and I will just personally be monitoring their progress on academic performance and their attendance throughout this as the semester continues. And towards the end, after I've collected their data and the interviews, I do want to interview a couple of teachers and the administration on campus to show them the results of this research study and see what their feedback is based on the results and what they believe that should be done to help or for future research projects as well. The research will be as I said before, a questionnaire which will be anonymous, and it'll be done through a Google form, since I feel like it's easier, since the kids are more used to that form of quiz or testing, and transferring them to a Google Sheet so I could be able to manipulate and separate the answers more accordingly to how it works best for me. Researcher will be gathering grades from the campus registrar. She has access to everything, so I will be talking to her to see this information as well. And some ethical considerations. These questions might be considered as triggering for some students. I know there's some certain students on campus who have higher anxiety than the others, so I don't want them to feel overwhelmed or pressured into doing this questionnaire, which is why I do want volunteers. I do want to tell them that the volunteer participation will be anonymous, and just stress that it's not going to go on their grades, because they always think it's going to be on the grades. And another ethical consideration is working with young adolescents, since they might not want to be as honest if a certain question is revolving around something very personal. Limitations of the study. Again, this questionnaire is relying on their honesty, and although the questionnaire will be anonymous, unreliable results might be collected. Working with students that I want to interview one-on-one who are frequently absent might cause some limitations to my research project, and some time constraints will also be will be of concern for me, since I only have a certain amount of time to be able to collect this data. And that is my research proposal, and I hope to share this with you guys and what I collected towards the end, and I'm also excited to see what I find. Thank you.